Now that we have our rocks sculpted, we need to look at the topology, the physical cage of polygons that's defining the overall form. And I love working with the multi-resolution modifier, but it's just going to logarithmically add more polygons into the mesh, which is good when sculpting details, but we need to optimize it to get into a world that's a little bit more manageable. Right now, if I look at my scene statistics, I get almost 4,000 polygons for my little rock. Well, that's cool and gives me a lot of opportunity to sculpt some details. I really kind of would like it in maybe that like 200 polygon realm. 4,000 polygons for a rock, that's going to be a very small piece, is going to make my scene incredibly inefficient. It's going to require more system resources. It's going to take longer to render. And this isn't really a shape that we can UV map and add a lot of really customized textures to the rock itself. So we need to get this into a much lower geometric resolution, as they say. So let me show you a cool little trick. I'm going to jump over into, I'm still in sculpt mode, excuse me. And I'm going to jump over into my viewport properties and turn on the visibility of my geometry, which allows me to see both the geometry that was added from the multi-resolution modifier and its location based off of how we sculpted it. And this is exactly what you would expect to see. We see a lot of geometry that's been pulled at the edges, and that's cool. But look at its structure. Eesh, this is no good, okay? There's a lot of geometry. Some of it's even crossed, which has some problems. So the sculpting workflow doesn't give us clean geometry, clean topology. We want a flow of polygons that defines all of these planar edges and all of these planar changes. Right now, the polygons are just kind of everywhere because we took this really subdivided icosphere and we pushed and pulled it. Well, now it's time for us to retopologize it and get it into a geometric load that we then can UV map material. It's efficient. We can even animate it if we wanted to, include it inside of some sort of like simulation of rocks falling down a hill. We have a lot of options in front of us if the geometry we're working with is efficient. Let's go ahead and do it real fast. I'm going to jump into object mode because I'm going to apply my multi-resolution modifier. Now, this is a point of no return. Usually at this moment, I save a new version of my project file, so I always have the original with the modifier still kind of inside of my media management system. So with the object selected, I'm going to go into our modifiers properties, my modifiers panel, excuse me, and I'm going to apply the modifier, which is going to bake all of the geometry into true polygons. There we go. So now we have traditional polygons. These are just straight up polygons. There's nothing fancy here. This is just straight up geometry. The modifier is gone, so we can no longer have the benefits of increasing and decreasing our subdivision level on the object. Now, what we gain in this is the ability to remesh our geometry. We do this inside of object mode, and then in addition, we have to go into our vertex object properties, and we find this. Find the remeshing tools right here, remesh. And we have two different modes to remesh. We have voxel remeshing and quad remeshing. Let me show you the difference between them. We talk a lot about the voxel remeshing system, and we use it quite significantly inside of our intermediate 3D modeling class. The voxel remeshing system is going to create a shape that's similar to this, but it's going to add in a lot of triangles and some weird structures. If we just simply choose voxel remesh, this is the result that we get. It kind of matches the overall structure of what we had before, but this is not what I want. Don't want these little polygons and these triangles in there. It's just kind of not the structure that we're after. I want a clean, evenly distributed blanket of quad polygons that wraps itself around the entire mesh. I'm going to hit undo real fast, Command Z, and I'm going to change my remeshing mode from voxel to quad. And now, when we do quadrifly flow remesh, we get some really fun options in here. Specifically, we get to choose the number of polygons we want to have at the conclusion of this tool. And I think I'm going to put 200 in here. And then we'll hit OK. We'll leave all these other parameters at their defaults. Let's hit OK. And boom. Now we have a 200 quad polygon mesh. And generally speaking, the flow of the polygons kind of matches what we had before, which is kind of neat. I've lost some of the detail in here, but luckily for us, since we're in a clean geometric surface that is a relatively low polygon, I can go back in with my sculpting tools and kind of get some of that detail back. And this is just kind of the easy, quick way of doing this. There are a lot of techniques that we'll look at, especially in the context of the next 3D modeling class, that will allow us to very, very accurately reproduce our rocks from each other. We're just trying to get something quickly here that matches the look and feel of what it is that we're after. I can even go back into that flatten brush again and flatten out some of these forms. Let's do this. I'm going to hit the tab key, go into object mode, and we'll turn off the visibility of our geometry. And in object mode, once again, I'm going to smooth shade this so we can get a real good sense of how all of my sculpting work is influencing the final look and feel. Yeah, there we go. Let's flatten out some of these planes, reconstitute some of this that we had before. Yeah, I'm digging this. This is working out pretty well. Let's go back into that pinch brush and pinch some of these corners. I'm just left clicking and dragging over the areas that I want to define these cool little plane changes and just letting the geo kind of do its thing. And that, yeah, I think that's about as far as I'm going to go with my little 200 polygon rock. And this is such a great, simple little shape. Yeah, there it is. There's my rock. If I go back into object mode real fast, or even edit mode, we can see the result that we've done here. If I turn on the visibility of my wireframes inside of object mode, yeah, I'm getting a nice clean flow of polygons. All of these verts in here that are going across that corner are flowing across that plane change, and it's defining the location where the polygons begin to bend and create a new plane. And even though there's a little bit of gobbledygook, a little bit of uncleaned and geometry in here, for the most part, this is going to work out just fine. Since this is all quad polygons, I can very quickly UV map this if I wanted to and create some customized textures. So this is a really great outcome, and I'm super pleased with the product of all of our work in the creation of our little rock and of this retopologizing stage. It's only 200 polygons. It's a great geometric resolution for how we're going to be using it inside of our scene, and we're going to be able to put some really great textures on here and continue to bring this rock to life.